Welcome back, Backpack Rackender here, bringing you another Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links video. Today we're doing something a little bit different. I wanted to cover a little bit of content on the newest event that was actually that's kind of ongoing and stuff until November 4th. So this is like kind of mid-event right now. This episode, or this video, I should say. But I really wanted to talk about it because it's really been like, these are the kind of events that I look forward to. The endless, non-stop, like just grindy PvE events that they do all the time. Like I'm not a huge fan of those, but these are high. This is a high quality. This is a top tier event, a top tier just game mode. Like I would love to see this like implemented permanently into the game. I know that's probably a lot to ask. I mean, it's really not, but like by Konami standards, it's a lot to ask. But like this is I don't know. So far, this has been a lot of fun. The different options with the motors, with the dual. I don't even know what they're, the turbo riders. I guess I'm not sure exactly what they are. And just like this new mechanic that they introduce with the speed counters, like it's really fun to play around with. It's kind of BS sometimes. Like for example, the most frustrating aspect of it is this one right here. Remove 10, destroy a card your opponent controls. Your opponent literally just destroys a card, and I don't think they can, like, you don't have any access to any of your effects. Like you can't chain anything. So that's a little frustrating sometimes, but it's not too bad. Like I honestly had a lot of fun with it. I wanted to go ahead and showcase some of the deck lists that I was playing around with, and also just kind of talk about a couple of replays that I saved for the sake of this video, because it's been, like I said, it's a lot of fun. Like I had a blast with this event. It's also why I haven't been doing any Road to King of Games videos, because I've been playing this. I've just been playing this event because it's so much fun, and I've been having a lot more fun with this than the normal, like the normal gameplay. So I will go ahead and jump into here with Fortune Ladies. So as you can imagine, I've talked about Fortune Ladies before, did a budget Road to King of Games episode on them, and Fortune Ladies have been one of my favorite synchro based decks lately, and just in general one of my favorite decks. I really enjoy the like little puzzle you have to kind of figure out in order to just kind of figure out what to do against your opponent. So this deck is way more expensive than some of the decks I've been using lately. I do have 2 copies of Fortune Lady Calling now. I also have an extra copy of Black Rose Dragon. I used my dream ticket on this. I kind of regret it because I should have got Vermilion Dragon Mech. I didn't even think about it when I was grabbing it. Vermilion Dragon Mech is literally the best generic synchro that we probably will ever have. If you have a dream ticket, use it on Vermilion Dragon Mech. Do not use it on Black Rose Dragon unless you already have Vermilion and you're still looking for more synchros. A little salty that I was actually really mad because the dream ticket that they released for the 100 million download reward didn't let me get another copy of Calling, so I really just kind of hastily jumped into a box to get a Black Rose, but it is what it is. I'm not too upset about it. I've been playing without Vermilion for a while now. I can continue doing so, and this deck doesn't this deck in particular doesn't need it. It's usually Vermilion's better for some of the other synchro decks, so it's not a huge deal for me. So yeah, this is one of the primary builds that I have for Fortune Ladies. This is post ban list, by the way, so Dark Lords are nerfed and all these all those other cards are nerfed. Can't wait to mess around with a little bit more Cyber Angels. I have a plan to do an episode of Cyber Angels for the Road to King of Games series. I can't wait to play a little bit more of those now that they finally released Cyber Petite Angel from the ban list. So yeah, we do have Fortune Ladies right here, and I've messed around with a couple of variations of the deck. The first few replays will likely be some of my other incarnations. I've been messing with more of the kind of stally back row cards. So I had Floodgate in here at one point. I also had Drowning Mirror Force in here at one point. But honestly, I just really wanted to, like honestly, those were too defensive for my liking, and I really didn't like the way Floodgate worked because right now there's just a lot of ways to get monsters to the field. So if you Floodgate one of them, normally it doesn't like stop your opponent from doing something, and it just means that you don't have any more back row cards. So it can be a little iffy to kind of mess with that. I did keep Canadia in though because Canadia can be, you could choose when to flip your opponent's card face down, so I did want to keep that in. Additionally, every only banishes face up monsters, so choosing a Floodgate option was not as ideal as it was to just stop your opponent in like a synchro, like one synchro play from your opponent. Like I used Canadia to stop like a couple of Six Samurais from getting their Shien out by flipping a monster face down. So yeah, those are a couple of the iterations. This is the one that I settled on. I think this is probably my favorite one. So basically we have 2 copies of Lights. This is basically to make up for the fact that we only have 1 copy of Calling. 3 copies of Our Past. 2 copies of Water, 2 copies of Wind. 1 copy of Cosmic Cyclone. 2 Econs, just kind of a really big, like this is just a staple card, really strong. I don't think this will ever go away. Canadia, and then we do have Countergate in here. I think this is a pretty nice, just kind of back row card. It does have the same issues as Drowning and Wall of Disruption have, where if your opponent just like pops off on their main phase, you can easily get OTK'd because they'll just destroy your Countergate. But if they don't have a means to deal with this can be a really nice way to draw a card, accelerate the speed of your deck a little bit more, and even potentially get a monster to the field. And then Powerful Rebirth has been, in my opinion, one of the best cards for this deck. If you don't have like the super like turbo Fortune Lady Call-in engine where you have 3 of these and like 1 of these and then just a bunch of really powerful back row, like I feel like this has been one of my favorite ways to play the deck is with this Powerful Rebirth. It also allows you to get Water, Fortune Lady Water's effect without relying on the main combo. You can have a past in your hand, summon it, and then Powerful Rebirth of Water, get a draw 2 effect, and then you can also play around your synchros from there. This deck is really, like, I've definitely misplayed a lot. This is a pretty big brain deck, I would say, because you really need to understand how your levels get changed and manipulated throughout the deck. I think I had a couple of time losses as well because I didn't have enough time to go through all of the plays. And then there was also a couple of times where I completely screwed up the levels of all of my monsters and I couldn't synchro what I wanted to synchro. I think there was a couple of times I wanted to get like every outs or Arcanite Magician, and I had Powerful Rebirth effect stacked on somebody and it just made them a level too strong or a level too high, so I couldn't do that. I think I did end up doing like Scrap Dragon stuff as well, so there's a lot to consider as you're playing this deck in order to really just really get your plays the way that you want them to. Powerful Rebirth increases a level by 1, so you have to pay attention to that. All of these monsters increase their level during their standby phase, so you have to pay attention to that. You can maybe use that to your advantage by resummoning them during your opponent's end phase. So like if you have a Powerful Rebirth in play, you can summon them on the end phase so that they get the standby phase power boost as well. That's something that you can consider. There's just a lot of different options for this deck, and I really it's just a lot of fun to play. There was a lot of just like puzzle solving, like what is my opponent playing, how do I play around that, all that stuff. I really love this deck so much. And it's one of the, I think one of the most fun synchro decks to play, because there's no correct answer most of the time. Obviously, you're going to be looking for a Fortune Lady every play, but there was a couple of times where Black Rose was the answer because of the way that Fortune Vision works, or I even got into some Star Eater plays as the duel extended past a few turns. Some of my monsters were able to make themselves high enough level to make Star Eater very easy. And then I also did an enemy controller take Econ Steel play where I stole my opponent's monster and synchroed into Scrap Dragon. So there was a lot of Like, there's a lot of different plays that you can make, and that's why we have like such a diverse synchro lineup. Ideally, we would have Vermilion Dragon Mech in here. I think that probably get rid of either a copy of every, or just get rid of Black Rose, to be honest. Or Star Eater. I don't know. There's just a lot of different options that you can do. I think 2 every is really nice because if your opponent finds a way to deal with the every outside of normal destruction, it can be a problem. I went up against a Vengered player that just straight up banished it. That wasn't a really good... That was a really tough duel. I think he ended up just winning that because he just banished my every. Every wants to get destroyed and sent to the graveyard so you can revive it all the time. But if it gets banished or somehow dealt with in another way, which if they send it back to the extra deck, you can just resummon it. So I guess it's not too bad. But I think ideally, personally, I would like to have 2 of them in case they do banish one of them. So that way I can still make some more every plays. But honestly, like we're hitting that point in Duel Links where the extra deck is really small. And you have to really pick and choose which extra deck cards you want to play with. Because we only have 6 right now, and there's just so many toolbox options for us to go with. So this is kind of the deck that we're going to run with. I don't really want to explain it too much. It's just the typical Fortune Lady stuff. With a couple of tech options to try and make up for the fact that we don't have multiple copies of our Fortune Lady Calling. I would consider 3 copies of Powerful Rebirth. Honestly, Powerful Rebirth it's really nice because it synergizes really strongly with your deck. It allows you to get draws from your Fortune Lady Water, which could lead into your Callings. It also allows you to get free destructions off of your Scrap Dragon. Because if you use the monsters that you summon with Powerful Rebirth for anything basically, Powerful Rebirth stays on the field. So if you synchro with a monster that you summoned with it, or if you for some reason tribute it, like with an enemy controller, Powerful Rebirth stays on the field, and it allows Scrap Dragon to just basically get the powerful, use the Powerful Rebirth to destroy a card. So it can be pretty nice. It has a lot of synergy. It's a really fun deck. I really like it. It's probably it's one of my favorite decks for sure. And it's a tier 2 deck. It's really good. So let's go ahead. I guess I have to go to the replays. The replays are over here. Also, the first I don't think I mentioned that. Oh, we went back a rank, or back down to silver. Don't worry, I'm going to be grinding out Duel Links Road to King of Games content very soon. I think this rider is the ideal one for 2 reasons. One is the destroy 1 card your opponent controls is really strong. I'm pretty sure your opponent can't activate most effects off of this skill activation. So I want to say that even like a Fuma, like a 6 Samurai Fuma on the field didn't. I don't think it activated its effect to resummon a monster. So I could be wrong. I could be mistaken on that. But I want to say that based off of my memory, if I'm recalling correctly, that's how that worked. So yes, I think this one's the best. And then additionally, we do have this one where you can remove 6 to summon a level 4 monster in your hand. This is a great way to get your combo out without requiring Fortune Lady Calling or a extra turn to summon your monster. That's kind of one of the big issues with the Fortune Lady deck, is they don't really have too many means to summon 2 monsters in 1 turn outside of the Fortune Lady Calling. So this really helps that out. I think this one, so this one also has it as well, so we could probably do this, but most of these other ones aren't really important. Draw 2 would be nice, I guess, but the normal monster stuff isn't great. You could do the power one, but I still think that the ability to get your monsters to the field with this one and your destruction is just way more ideal for this deck. So let's go ahead and jump in here. I have 5 replays for you guys. All of them should be turbo duels, unless I messed up, which I hope I didn't. Yeah, so these are all turbo duels. You have to use 5D's characters. A little unfortunate, but it makes sense. You know, that's kind of what it's kind of the whole thing with 5Ds, the turbo duel stuff. So let's go ahead. We're going to watch a couple of these replays, talk about them. I wasn't going to do a video on the 5D stuff, the turbo duel tournament thing they're doing, but I started playing it. I started getting all the rewards, and I just had so much fun playing it. Like, this is kind of the stuff that I really enjoy whenever like you have like this dynamic card game like Yu-Gi-Oh. They can just mix up the rules in such a fun way that I really enjoyed this. So, um, oh, this was a Yubel player. They were playing Yubel with um, the new Nephthys? The Nephthys engine. Is that how that's spelled? Oh man, English is hard sometimes. So this is the Nephthys engine Yubel deck. Unfortunately, they're not able to play Yubel. Otherwise, they would probably get rid of this and summon the main Yubel, but I'm really glad that's not the case. Fire King Island destroys the Phoenix, all that stuff. So I summon the Fortune Lady Wind, destroy the field spell, destroys my monster, goes for a direct attack. I forget why I had Bending Destiny, so this was a huge misplay. I think I still managed to come out on top because this deck is really good, but so this was one of the variations of the deck that I had included. Bending Destiny is a counter trap card that requires you to have a Fortune Lady on the field, and so basically it's really good. It negates the activation of a spell or trap card or the normal summon of a monster. And that's the key there. I forgot that it was only a normal summon. I wanted to counter trap the revival effect of the Phoenix. Because it's going to revive and destroy all spell and trap cards on the field. So I was like, you know what? I can just put this down on the field and then I'll be good. But that's not how that works, because unfortunately, Bending Destiny does not allow you to negate the effects of monsters or the special summon of monsters, just their normal summon. So it's a bit unfortunate. I think I don't know what kind of stuff he's doing, but he manages to get the Phoenix to come back out. So I make a really big brain play. We're going to enemy controller his Phoenix, and then I had the toggle set to on so that I could still powerful rebirth my monster. So I chain the powerful rebirth effect to my enemy controller. Since tributing my monster is a cost, you can do that. He does still manage to destroy my stuff, but I rip into the big play, Fortune Lady Calling. That was a huge top deck. There was no way I was going to win without it. So managed to get the Calling. Time Passage. This is the main combo of the deck. Banish the Light, summon the Water, draw 2 cards, set the Drowning Mirror Force just in case, and then we synchro into our every. I believe I destroy. I destroy the Phoenix, and then I set up my following play just to be safe. So we destroy the Phoenix. I use this to search a card just to be safe. She goes into a Ritual Summon. I have no idea what these Nephthys cards do, to be honest. She seems to be doing some good stuff. I use Every's effect to banish this guy because he has a really powerful effect if he doesn't. And then I finish it off with our Spell Speed Acceleration to destroy my opponent's monster. Yeah, doesn't this have a destruction effect? No, okay, so it's after it gets sent to the graveyard. So I wasn't too sure. But this guy has a destruction effect right here. So if you destroy it, if this card is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you can destroy a card in your hand, or one that you control. And I didn't want that to happen, so I just banished it. It's like, get you out of here. Every's really strong, and I managed to rip into the core combo with Calling there. So that saved the duel. I was totally about to lose that one. So yeah, Carly. This is kind of one of the issues that I do have with this game, is like Carly's the only really way. Like, Carly is one of the only ways to play this Fortune Lady deck. So I have her maxed. Like, I don't get anything from playing her outside of like the skills, and it's kind of frustrating. Like, I wish there was like maybe I don't know, like a thing past levels that like allowed you to keep getting some kind of reward, like a prestige level or something. So like prestige level, every level that you go past your maximum, you get like a couple, like, I don't know, something small. You don't have to like put any kind of card, just make it like some generic rewards. Like, do like the login where it's like dual orbs, gem, or dual orbs, coins, gems, dual orbs, coins, gems, and like just kind of repeat, rinse and repeat. Ideally, it would be all gems, but that would be the best situation, but I don't always expect that. So anyway, we actually have like nuts here. This is like the opening hand that you want to see. We have our vision. We have 2 copies of our calling now. We also have past and light. So this is what I go into light into summon a past from the deck, and this is going to be our summon into every. And then we also have a follow-up combo here. I think this is, yeah, I have Bending Destiny and Floodgate Trap Hole. So I'm still running my older deck list with those Floodgates in here. So yeah, this is our, like we have a follow-up play too. So if we lose our monsters, we still have something that we can do. So it's really nice. He sets 1 card face down. I just swing right into it, and it turns out to be Gravekeepers. And he just returns it to the deck. So that was really, really unfortunate. If it doesn't get destroyed, if every doesn't get destroyed, it can be kind of tough to recycle your resources. But thankfully, like I said, we opened nuts. We had like the god hand in this situation. So we just, I played it slow, mostly because I really didn't have any kind of play. I just had Bending Destiny, which wasn't going to do anything. He's playing a bunch of monsters, and I really didn't have much to do, so I kind of played it slow, just set my past and play my cards like that. So I time passage into a water, and then I summon the Fortune Lady Light, and then I'm going to banish the light. And what I do here is I use this to draw cards, and then also I want to activate Fortune Vision's effect. When you banish one of your own cards, your monsters can't be destroyed by battle. So, or destroyed by card effect. And so what we're going to do is we're going to Synchro Summon Black Rose Dragon here and go for the win. And then we reset all 3 cards, because now we have a bunch of stuff. I expected him to be playing more flip stuff. So I think he does have... yeah, he does have more flip effects. He has this card, and then... I guess he doesn't have another flip effect to destroy my monsters. But I didn't want to risk it. Just destroy them and, you know, be done with it. And then... here, we use our speed counters. Speed spell, acceleration. I destroy his face down, and then I just enemy controller steal his monster for victory. The speed spells are kind of broken. I'm not going to lie. They can be really broken, but I don't know. For me, it's just a lot of fun to kind of mess around. These guys are a lot. These next 3 duels were a lot more difficult. I started getting more of the higher ranked players in my duels. So these guys, I think, are more in the platinum ranks, whereas the other ones were still in gold-ish ranks. So we're still playing the Bending Destiny. This isn't super great, but I do just hard summon and then I Bending Destiny. So this is the 6 Samurai deck that I was talking about. I think this is probably a face down Fuma. I make that hard read, and I just go into. I don't know what I go into here. I just do the every play. So yeah, we just go straight into every. I have to be really careful with 6 Samurais, because if they do run 6 Samurai, what's the Anishi? If they're running Anishi, they can use Anishi's effect to just bounce my Synchro back to the extra deck. So I have to be a little careful with that. And I just let him kind of do his thing. Because now that we have our every on the field, I don't care that he gets his Xian out. So he plays the Tie That Binds. He also plays Spell Speed Acceleration. He does manage to destroy every. Every's just going to revive at the end phase, and we're just going to banish his monsters. So really, every is a really strong Synchro card. Like, I'm not going to lie. Like, this is probably one of the strongest Synchros. And then we combo. We banish one of his monsters with Every's effect, and then we Spell Speed again. acceleration, destroy another monster, and then we use time passage to boost our every by 3 levels, which gives her more attack points, and thusly we win with 4400 attack. Not too bad, not too bad. And then from here, I believe we switched back to the powerful rebirth stuff, and I don't have fortune, or was it whatever the counter trap is, I don't have that anymore. So I'm gonna go ahead. Lots of usays. I think a lot of these people were just running Tie That Binds for like generic access to power boosts. So that's what it seemed like, is at least from what I've seen. So yeah, we have a powerful rebirth in hand. I believe that I played this one really slow, so I'm just gonna hard summon that. He Kanadias it, and then I believe I do set my powerful, right? Yeah. So just set the powerful rebirth. He brings out the tricky. Uses the tricky to tribute off. Turns out he's playing Ultra Athletes. He does Tie That Binds, destroys my face down monster, and I go into the Fortune Lady Every plays here, it seems. So I'm gonna go ahead, do the standard combo here. If you want to know more about the actual Fortune Lady combo, check out my budget Fortune Lady deck. I explain it in full detail there. Let's see, what did I set? Econ and Counter Gates. Counter Gate also really synergizes with this deck, if I don't think I mentioned, because Fortune Lady Every is oftentimes your only monster on field. So while it does revive, it only revives during your opponent's end phase. So if they have a means to destroy it and start their own battle phase, Counter Gate's a really nice way to just kind of deal with your opponent. He does end up using Soul Exchange to tribute off my monster. He can't activate his battle phase during the turn he does that, so it's kind of pointless. Every just returns to the field, banishes his card. I believe that I powerful rebirth the water. Yeah, so I was kind of just... Honestly, I didn't really need to do anything there. I was trying to set up further plays by getting a draw effect, but it was kind of useless. So this is going to be the last duel for this video. Maybe I'll play 1 or 2 duels. If this goes pretty quickly, maybe I'll play a duel as well to kind of get a live action-packed duel in before we close the video. So yeah, we're going to go ahead. Opponent reached the first corner. I don't know. This is just a really fun game mode for me. I really enjoy this kind of stuff. I wish that they did more stuff like this. Like, I would totally play way more. Like, this is one of the things that I always like criticized with Duel Links is like, don't give us endless PvE events after PvE events. Some of the best events were all of the PvP events, and this one is a lot of fun. Like, make this a bit more mainstream. Make it so that I can invite my friends, because I know that there's I could probably convince some of my brothers who play a little bit of Yu-Gi-Oh to jump into some Duel Links and like mess around with this for like a couple of minutes and duel me. And of course I would crush them because they don't have any of the modern decks, but I would take it easy on them, but it would be a lot of fun. So I hope that they experiment a bit more with this. Maybe put the option to turbo duel in like one of the duel rooms or something. Like, that would be a lot of fun, and I think a lot of people would like that. So we're playing against Dark Magician. I fortunately calling, just go straight into every plays. There's really no need to not go into every here. Thankfully, I imagine one of these is Magician Navigation. Thankfully, fortunately, calling can't be negated the turn he sends it to the graveyard, so we don't have to get we don't have any issues with that. That is one of the big counters to this deck, is if your opponent finds a way to negate your calling and you don't have another means to summon monsters to the field. One of the reasons that I do like the powerful rebirth, like I mentioned. He does end up playing Lemon Magician Girl. I go straight into banishment of the Lemon Magician Girl. Once per turn, if this card is targeted for an attack, you can special summon a monster from your hand, but its effects are negated, and then change that target. And I believe one of the Magician Girls also deals with effects. Like if it's targeted for an effect, you can also do something like that. Every is one of those crazy cases where this is not a targeting effect. It says, if you increase this card's level, then you can banish one face-up monster your opponent controls. There's no targeting involved. Your opponent has to react before I make the selection. It's one of the things that makes this card just insanely good. Every is an insanely powerful card. So yeah, we go ahead. This is actually, I actually use my Fortune Vision to search out a Fortune Lady Wind because I want to blow up his back row cards. I imagine one of these is going to be Drowning because a lot of the Dark Magicians play Drowning Mirror Force. And so we're just going to blow both of them up. It does activate the navigation because it would be foolish not to. Summons both of these. I destroy a Drowning Mirror Force as predicted. And then I believe... Oh, I go into enemy controller. Oh, this is where I Scrap Dragon. I Scrap Dragon his monster. So I was going to try to make a play into another card, but I think it's alright. So we do enemy controller, steal his monster, and then we just synchro it into Scrap Dragon. I steal this guy. I steal the Dark Illusion because he has a revive effect. So if he stayed on the field, he would be able to revive his Dark Magician. And then I just go aggressive. I probably could have OTK'd here because I did have access to my skill from Carly's skill, like her actual like skill in the game, which is the fortune, what is it called? Fortune something. Oh, Time Passage. It's not even called Fortune. So this would increase, it increases the monster by 3. So I could have actually increased every's level by 3, which would have put her up to 4,400. And then I also could have used Scrap Dragon's effect to tribute off our counter gate and destroy one of his monsters, and that would have been enough damage for lethal. It doesn't really matter. We have such a good, we have such a strong board control right now that it doesn't. We have no way that we're going to lose this. He uses his 10 counters in order to destroy Every. However, Every is insane and just revives herself back from the graveyard, so it's like all of your efforts are useless. We rip Cosmic Cyclone. I use that to destroy his back row. Turns, and then I use Scrap Dragon to, or no, I use the. Did I use Scrap Dragon? How did I destroy his monster? Okay, yeah, I used Scrap Dragon. I was like, how did I destroy his monster? I'm pretty sure I used Scrap Dragon there. So that's it. That's the Turbo Duels. What are your guys' thoughts? Have you guys been enjoying this the Turbo Duel event? Because I don't know if it's just me. I feel like it's just me sometimes when it comes to these types of things. Because I'm not like I'm a competitive player, but I'm also not, if that makes sense. Like, I can hit King of Games, and I don't mind doing, like, I could probably go to tournaments and like, or sign up for like Duel Links meta tournaments and like do pretty well, and take it really competitively. Because I do like competitive Yu-Gi-Oh, but I also just like the casual Yu-Gi-Oh as well. Like, casual Yu-Gi-Oh is so much fun because you get to play so many crazy effects and so many crazy different dual decks, right? So like if you're playing casual Yu-Gi-Oh, there's just like so many different things you can do. It's not as easy to play casual Yu-Gi-Oh stuff in Duel Links because like the dual room stuff is really good, and they've been improving on it a lot. But it still feels like not quite where I want it to be. If that makes sense. I don't know. This probably doesn't make sense. It's really good. Especially since they've created like these dual room point stuff. So it's not too bad. But I don't know. These types of events where like they get these like really unique, really just kind of different mechanics. Because like one of the things that I've done when I played with my brothers in the TCGs, I actually created Duel Links like skills, and it made the duels like a lot of fun. We just had a blast playing them, and so I could see myself wanting to take some of these ideas as well and set up a IRL rule set where we mess around with the idea of speed counters. I think that would be kind of cool. So Yeah, that's going to be it for me then. What are your thoughts on this? Like, let me know in the comments below. How have your experiences with this been? Honestly, a PvP event is really nice because it also counts towards your uh, rewards. So every time you win a duel, you get 5 gems until you get to like 30 wins, and then it's a card, and then it's like 5 gems to hit the 40. Like every 10th win is like something not too great usually, and then you get the 5 gems per win. So these also count towards that, and that's really nice. We get those a lot of gem rewards. I actually have managed to get quite a lot of gems out of this in order to get more decks. I'm actually starting to pick up some more of the Dark Lords because I saw a couple of deck lists where they threw the Dark Lords in with the Fortune Ladies, and I thought that would be a lot of fun to try out, so I want to mess with that. But yeah, so without further ado, without enough rambling about the events, I had fun. I hope you guys did too. Let me know your thoughts about it in the comments below, and of course, if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like. If you want some more Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links content, be sure to hit the subscribe button and the bell notification icon so that you'll always be notified when new videos go live. I have a Road to King of Games series that I'm currently working on right now. Hopefully I can get that taken care of within the next month. I'm going to be considering like quote-unquote speedrunning to King of Games, where I just pick a day, grind it out for the whole day to King of Games, and then record videos along the way and just upload them throughout the month or whatever. So that's something that's going to be on the chopping block. But yeah, also the Riot card game's releasing another access to the beta. So if I get access to that beta, you can expect some Riot, some of the Riot card game to be included on this channel as well. And of course, if you are interested in just kind of fun Let's Plays, check out my Indivisible playthrough that I'm currently doing right now. I actually beat the game already. All of my videos are pre-recorded, and so I actually have the game completed. So if you want to check out my Twitch channel, you can see me try to attempt speedrunning it a little bit. So that could be a lot of fun. But yeah, it's a great game. I recommend playing it, and go ahead and check it out if you want to see for yourself. Without further ado, thank you guys so very much for watching. I really hope that you enjoyed, and I will see you guys next time. Later!